You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Little fellow, you must have given up the hope of living.
On the contrary, I do not let the word death bother me.
Same here, baby.
Then what are you waiting for?
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and today marks a special occasion. If you heard that opening, you remember that it is from Game of Death, one of our favorite formats, and it's gone through a little bit of a change, which we will get to in just one moment. But, in the age of reboots, remakes, prequels, sequels, and reimaginings, we've been planning this one for quite some time. And before we introduce our illustrious guest and our dapper host, let me introduce my co-hosts who are coming through my headphones and are totally real and not just voices in my head. So we'll start with Matt. How are you doing, Matt?
On the mend. I'm doing better.
Yeah, you weren't feeling too well. You were pretty sick for a couple days. Yeah,
lack of antibodies led to a little bit of coronavirus, but I'm doing a little better.
Yeah, so glad to hear you've recovered, Matt.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be around.
I didn't know that it had made its way over to robots, so
yeah,
jumped another species.
I didn't download the newest Norton antivirus. Is my problem. You always have to update.
I know you get those updates. You got to click it, right? That's your lesson? Is anytime you're on the computer, anytime a link comes and says click, we're supposed to click it, right?
Click anything. Yep, that's how you do it.
And Jeff and Ken, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm glad to be bringing the Game of Death back into the mix. It's always been fun.
Feels like it's got to be at least a year now, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, a year or more. I mean, the Pagoda had to go through some renovations. I think we've cleaned it up. It's a new coat of paint. I think it looks good.
Nice. We better have a very special guest for this one then.
Oh, we definitely do. And for all of our listeners here, you probably know the great products that he puts out every week. If you don't, he will surely invite you to listen to them and let you know more about them. But that is our friend Jonathan Oakes from the Oakes Media Group. How's it going, Jonathan?
Hey, man. How are you? I am fantastic right now.
We're doing well. Super excited to have you here. We've been planning this for a long time. Just happy to get it going. Unfortunately, took this long, but we're super excited that you're here.
Well, once Matt ended up on death's door with the coronavirus, I know that motivated everybody to get this done just in case.
That's a good point. A very good point. It's our insurance policy. Yep.
Absolutely. So yeah, I run the Oakes Media Group. We are responsible for shows like Trivial Warfare Blitz, Things That Are Blank, and Foreplay. These are all either trivia games or game show podcasts that you can find anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So we try and change things up and introduce new things all the time. You know, my favorite thing right now is actually TikTok. Mm-hmm. I've started something called the Trivial Warfare Challenge on TikTok, little 1-minute games. I'm going to be recording some of those later tonight. Those are super fun.
Now, how long before you start doing the dances?
It's a really good question. I'm not going to lie. It took about a week for me to get addicted to TikTok. And I mean, like, I'm checking it 5, 6, 7, 20 times a day.
Wow.
It's just so much fun.
I know Neal's no stranger to TikTok, right?
Yeah, I was doing some research into TikTok and I was like, oh, I'm never really going to, get into this. And then like Jonathan said, the next day it was, an hour, and then the next day and the day after that, now I'm like in a rabbit hole. So, but yeah, Jonathan, TikTok has been fun. It's sort of uncharted territory, and it's moving rapidly throughout culture. So it's pretty crazy.
I'm definitely excited to be there. I'm looking forward to adding some trivia there because it seems like there's a lack right now.
I agree. And speaking of lack of trivia, one place that you will not have trouble finding it currently is online in a streaming format. And we're very excited to have host our Game of Death today be our friend Jason Borsom of Liquid Courage, as I say. But if you want to find him on Twitch, it's twitch.com/liquid_courage, spelled with a K. And he's really adapted to the new format of streaming quite well. We've enjoyed his streams. We've appeared on them, and we tune in as much as we can. But welcome, Jason.
Hey, guys. How we doing today?
Good. It's daytime. It's weird being with you at the in daytime.
I mean, I have no concept of like circadian rhythm anymore because I effectively live in my basement now in front of this giant TV display in front of me and a green screen behind me. I think I have a family upstairs somewhere that I never see anymore because like you said, I've done my best to kind of transition live pub trivia into the online space. So I'm streaming basically 7 nights a week right now.
Which is super impressive. We've tuned in to some music rounds, some of your traditional format, even a Triviality format, and it's been a lot of fun, and you've had a great response, I think, with a lot of people participating, right?
We're doing okay. I certainly can't complain about the people that have stopped in and seem to enjoy themselves in there. Coming off the heels of like Geek Bowl and the big meetup that the big trivia community had back in March has really helped kind of spread the knowledge of what I'm doing in the online space. So we're getting people from the West Coast, from the East Coast, a couple people from the UK and beyond into our streams every night. It's really kind of awesome.
That's great. And as I said before, people can find you at twitch.com/liquid_courage with a K. And we hope that you continue to spread those trivia droplets as far as you can. So today is Game of Death, as we said. It's going to be a little bit different. We wanted to change the format when Jonathan came on, so that way it could be updated a little bit, have it be a little bit more challenging, a little more entertaining. And I'm going to throw it to Matt because he came up with the new...
Great.
Oh, no, don't worry. It's more challenging for us, so which is always a good thing. But Matt, you came up with the new rules.
You say that. I had to write this.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Yeah, well, the way the Game of Death used to work was Jonathan would face 3 of us and then have a round of his choosing. In the new format, he will be facing all 4 of us one-on-one in our specialty, but he got to choose his own category and the person he'd like to face to kind of balance it out. The swing rounds will go where Jonathan will face 2 of us, where his points will be doubled, 10 points apiece for him, 5 for us. And then in the final round, he will face the 2 people that he didn't choose for the swing round. Otherwise, it's basically a triviality game. So, 20 questions, 10 points apiece with a wager at the end for the final.
Great. Well, I'm sure it's going to be like every other triviality game with a few embarrassing answers and misheard questions and whatnot. But Jeff, Ken, Matt, are you ready?
I am ready. A couple days ago, Jason asked me what categories I was interested in, and the answer, as usual, was potpourri.
When I was trying to pick who to pick to pull out of their category, I'm like, okay, so what exactly is Ken's category? And Jason's like, man, I don't know. Yeah. I don't. I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do with that?
I know. My notepad as I was prepping this game had like Matt and Neal and then just Ken stuff.
Yeah, it's weird.
So to be clear then, Jason, all of the questions for Ken versus Jonathan are going to be about scented bowls and whatnot?
Yeah, it's exclusively tattoos and anime.
Okay. That sounds good.
Well, you nailed it then.
I'm so screwed.
Jonathan, are you ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Cool. So, Jason, I'm going to throw the keys to you. Feel free to take over.
All right, so Jonathan, we have rounds prepared for each of our 4 hosts. First and foremost, who would you like to take out of their comfort zone and face in a round of your choosing?
I am taking Mr. Jeff out of his comfort zone. It came down to Jeff or Ken. I figured Matt's going to be sportsy kind of stuff, and I feel like I'll do fine there. And I figured that Neal's going to be movie pop culture stuff, and I'm okay there. Going up on geography, science type stuff against Jeff, I'm like, he's probably better than I am at that category in a pretty big way. So let's pull him out.
So you heard him, Jeff. Jonathan has a round of his own theming coming for you after halftime. But for now, let's get into the first half. Jonathan, you can choose to start going against Matt in sports, Neal in entertainment, or Ken in whatever Ken knows.
Let's go ahead and start with sports.
We're going to start with sports. All right, Matt, are you ready to step to the plate?
I'm ready.
All right, so Matt and Jonathan, your first question in sports. If the 2020 Olympics happens in like 2021 or whenever, they're expected to have 7 distinct events classified as combat sports. I need you to name 5 of those events.
Okay, I think I can lock in.
I'm pretty sure we have boxing and wrestling. I feel like there is judo in the Olympics. I don't know if fencing counts as combat, but I believe fencing is an Olympic sport. So far, those are the 4 that I've got, and I'm trying to figure out what other
blood sport.
I know, right? I'm like, man, have they made biathlon more of a more aggressive than in the past? Yeah, I'm leaning towards something like karate or. Yeah, I'm just going to go with karate. So karate, judo, wrestling, boxing, and fencing are my 5.
All right, Jonathan, Matt, representing Triviality, what did you say?
Okay, so boxing, wrestling, and judo, I'm 100% sure on. The other one, I remember Ronda Rousey getting a medal, so I'm assuming that mixed martial arts is also a category. And then I think I also remember seeing sumo wrestling at one of the previous Olympics. So that's going to be my 5 is boxing, wrestling, judo, MMA, and sumo.
All right, guys. Well, we have points on the board. Congratulations to Jonathan for striking first. You actually almost unintentionally named 6 of the 7 different combat sports because freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman wrestling are distinct events at the Olympics. But even combining those, you were able to knock out boxing, judo, fencing, and karate, which is scheduled to begin Olympic play in 2020 or 2021 or whatever. Taekwondo, I think, is the one that got missed across the board.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I believe Ronda Rousey won her medal for judo.
I thought so too.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And is Greco-Roman, is that clothed or unclothed, Jason?
I think in the modern era, thankfully, it is clothed.
Okay, noted.
I mean, speak for yourself.
I think if you donate enough on Patreon, they will take their clothes off. Is how that works.
That's usually how that works, right?
That's our policy too, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to wear clothes for this?
No, I actually have a Patreon tier that prevents me from taking my clothes off. They pay me to keep my clothes on. It works wonderfully.
I got a tip on Twitch, I kid you not, 4 days ago that somebody said, please put your shirt back on for everybody. So I understand your pain all too well there, Jonathan. You guys ready for question 2?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And a quick shout out to Footnote Trivia in San Francisco. Help me write this question. What term, meaning unassisted or by oneself, can also describe former MLB pitcher Jim Abbott and NFL cornerback Shaquem Griffin?
I am locked in.
This is a person that has one arm, because Jim Abbott has one arm. But I don't know of a word that would... I'm just going to say one-armed man, because I don't know.
All right, Jonathan, what did you end up going with?
I said single-handed.
And that would be it.
Oh.
Points to Jonathan. Single-handed. Jim Abbott has both arms, but doesn't have, I believe it was his right hand. Very notable MLB pitcher. And, of course, the recent addition to the NFL, Shaquem Griffin, also born without one of his hands.
I just saw a video of Jim Abbott getting a hit. It was pretty amazing.
Whoa.
He had 2 in his career, I believe.
That is an elite athlete right there.
Yep.
No doubt. All right, guys. So question 3. In December of 2015, what 8-word phrase was approved as a registered trademark, made famous about 11 months earlier through being repeated over 20 times in a 5-minute period?
I can lock in.
I think it might just be the word Omaha repeated 8 times. Omaha. Omaha. That was Peyton Manning during the Super Bowl, and it's going to be February 6th, 11 months before December. It's probably the Super Bowl. Timing feels right, but that's not an 8-word phrase. That's just a 1-word repeated 8 times. 8-word phrase. It's no way that it's Omaha. But I got nothing better, so I'm going to say Omaha, 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 and wait for it, Omaha.
Yeah, no, this is something that I say whenever I actually show up for recordings. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to give that to you, Matt. It's not exactly verbatim, but 10 points to you. It's Richard Sherman, who, of course, was notoriously anti-doing press conferences, especially in the Super Bowl where they lost to the Patriots back in 2015. Forgive me. It was his phrase, "I'm just here so I won't get fined."
Okay.
And now we can sell it on T-shirts for like $35 a pop.
There you go.
And Skittles wrappers.
Oh, no, it's Marshawn Lynch. Did I misspeak? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had said Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I found differing sources said he said it somewhere between 20 times and 27 times in 4.5 to 5 minutes in that press briefing. Dude's going to get paid for it, though. Good on him. All right, question 4. What team in the 4 major pro sports leagues had an alternate uniform or jersey logo from 1999 to 2007 that gave birth to the unfortunate team nickname, the Flaming Snot Donkeys? Their words, not mine.
How did you find out my high school nickname, Jason?
I'll lock in with a guess.
All right. A logo with fire because it's flaming. Okay, so the Calgary Flames would have flames. I don't feel, you know what? Let me narrow it down. I feel like it is going to be probably NHL because I feel like I would have heard of a flaming snot donkey in baseball or football back then when I was watching both sports regularly. Might as well go with that. I'm going to say the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I quickly came to the NHL because I do feel like if it was one of the other sports, I would have heard of it. NHL is kind of the sport that I follow the least, and this was really before the Blackhawks were really good, so I wasn't paying attention as much because I'm a bandwagon fan there. And yeah, I said Calgary Flames.
All right. Well, you live together and you score together. Nice job. It is the Calgary Flames of the NHL.
Why?
Probably because of the rodeo they have in Calgary.
Oh, that does.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And guys, if you want to spice up your love life, you try the Flaming Snot Donkey in the bedroom. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, now okay. I see the flaming snot part of this now.
Yeah.
Yep.
That logo.
I don't know. They're more like the flaming snot thoroughbreds.
Mm-hmm. That's not quite
know.
a donkey. Yeah.
It's not a donkey.
That artwork, the artwork looks like it belongs on an Uncle Cracker album.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
I think we can move on.
All right, so to close out sports, guys, question 5. And knowing me like some of you do, you know I've got to throw one in about curling since it's the sport of kings. All right, so here's your question about curling. What term describing something found in track and field also describes the advantage in curling of shooting the last rock in an end?
Well, I'm going to lock in again because I don't know and I have a guess.
And so far I have discus, shot put, javelin, whatever that word I can't read is. Oh, hurdle, pole, vault, bar, pad, ground, track. A javelin sounds like a missile. I'm going to guess javelin.
Well, that's funny. You named all those things, and my guess was something you didn't say. And I remember the hammer toss or hammer throw. I think the last one might be a hammer. So
that's
I said
a nice
hammer.
Answer.
And Matt's pulling it into a tie with you, Jonathan. 10 points on that one. Yep. If you're ever watching curling on like Curling Night in America on NBC Friday nights, there's a little hammer icon they put up on the scoring display to signify which team shoots the last rock in the end, because in a game like curling, having the last shot is definitely advantageous.
Man,
I love some curling. Good stuff.
It's very entertaining.
I thought I was too legit to quit, but apparently I'm not.
I remember we were enjoying some Olympic curling when we were in Boston for Geek Bowl, guys.
Yeah, we were riveted by it. I feel like out of all four of us, I think Jeff, I don't know why, I just feel like Jeff would be a good curler. I'm not sure why.
Like a broomsman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can't be trusted with throwing anything.
You guys want to know the biggest heartbreaking thing about this quarantine situation for me personally? I was supposed to go curling with my wife as a birthday gift yesterday.
Oh.
And that has been indefinitely postponed. So bucket list item not ticked off yet.
I'll tell you what, I will mail you a Swiffer and a Roomba, and you can just do it at home.
All right, so coming after our first round, it is indeed a tie. Jonathan and the Triviality boys, both with 30 points on the board. Jonathan, you can choose to go up against Neal next in entertainment or Ken in whatever the hell Ken knows.
I'm going to take my lumps now and say whatever the hell Ken knows.
All right, we're going to need a Ken for this round. You're good?
I literally could be 0 for 5 in this round. It is a distinct possibility.
So could I, Jonathan.
That would be worse than me going 0 for 5 for what it's worth.
So let's see what happens. Question 1 in Ken stuff. Accounting for over 90% of the total population, according to 2006 data, what 3 religious affiliations dominate the nation of Japan?
Okay, I'm going to lock in.
Ken in with some Japanese knowledge. Jonathan, feel free to talk it out if you need.
Well, the 2 largest world religions, to my knowledge, would be Islam and Christian, but I'm sure that's not going to be right. The 2 that I'm guessing immediately are Buddhism and Shinto. After that, is it Islam or is it Christianity? I'm going to guess Christianity. So Christianity, Buddhism, and Shinto.
I agree with Jonathan about Shintoism and Buddhism being 1 and 2, and there was a lot of Christian imports that they tried to stomp out, but I think Christian hung in there at number 3.
Yeah, both of you went Shinto, Buddhism, and Christianity, and both of you are on the board in this round with 10 points.
I'm relieved, quite frankly.
Me too.
A lot of people in Japan claim to not have a religious affiliation in general, but they do practice basically a folk form of Shinto. Combining both like folk and organized Shintoism in Japan, that's probably a good 60% of the populace right there. All right, question 2. And this question was inspired by the fact that I've been waiting about 5 years to play the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I have to wait a little bit longer because I'm on this podcast instead. So, Final Fantasy VII features... It's all good. It really isn't. It's all good. Final Fantasy VII features a unique playable character named Red 13, who, if he were to appear in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, would most likely be found in the world of what Disney film based on his appearance?
I'm going to assume that this is what you're looking for. I'm going to argue the hell out of it if it's wrong. I'm locked in.
All right, Jonathan, I can't wait to hear what that argument might be. But Ken, the mic is yours if you need it.
Yeah, so I know exactly who Red 13 is. Kind of like a dog kind of character. He's red, got a long tail. So I'm trying to think what Disney film you might be referring to, or at least lions. He's kind of a lion. I guess, or hyena maybe. All right, I guess I'll go Lion King with that.
All right, Ken. Jonathan, did you follow suit or did you go a different direction?
I mean, I knew he was a dog. It was either going to be 101 Dalmatians or Lady and the Tramp. I went Lady and the Tramp.
Sure. So points are going to go to both of you because while my research indicated that Red 13 species, according to the fandom, is most similar to a lion, you can definitely argue that it is also akin to a wolf-like species. So going in the dog direction, I cannot tell you you're wrong. Points are going to go to both of you for that one.
Cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate your generosity there. I'm looking at one of the things on Google. I just Googled, is Red 13 a dog? And it says, at one point, the original Final Fantasy VII, he is referred to as a dog by a little girl in Costa del Sol. Official sources say Red 13 is feline, but he yelps like a dog.
Yeah. And he howls at the moon in one point after you go through the Cosmo Canyon. So
That's true.
I could see that too.
Wait, Kramer has his own canyon?
We
I'm
know
just
a
waiting
lot
for
about
Wanda
this,
Canyon.
everybody.
I'm playing it right now. Just I'm at the Wall Market. It's going well.
And to be fair to Ken as well, I mean, if you listen to the beginning episodes of our show, he also thought Godzilla was a dog. So
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so question 3 here in Ken's stuff. Lincoln Cathedral has one, Salisbury Cathedral has another, and the only other 2 still around are found in the British Library. What the heck am I talking about?
I'm just going to tap out, I guess. I have no idea. I'll say gargoyles.
I can tell you that I have a copy of Gargoyles downstairs. I'm sure it's not that exclusive. Now it is on Disney Plus as well. The 2, I imagine we're talking about a book. The 2 books that I have in mind right now are Gutenberg Bible and the Book of Kells. Oh, maybe I'm going to guess copies of the Magna Carta.
Points to Jonathan. It is the 4 extant copies of the original Magna Carta.
Wow.
4 of them still in existence. The British Library has 2. The other 2 are located at a couple different cathedrals in England.
Cool.
All right, so question 4 is going to ask you to do just a little bit of math, guys. What number do you get when you add up the number of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Years of Solitude, James Fry's Little Pieces, and Nathaniel Hawthorne's House's Gables?
Okay, I'm going to lock in.
It's 100 Years of Solitude. It's The House of the Seven Gables. And it's that damn Oprah Book Club book that I can never remember. I think it's 1 million little pieces. I hope it's 1 million little pieces. You said we have to add it together? I'm going to say 1,107,000.
All right, Ken, where did your math lead you?
Exactly to the same place.
Well, good job. 10 points to both of you. Like I said, a very little bit of math there because it's 100 Years of Solitude. Jeff was showing off his copy of it during the question here in our chat. James Fry, of course, known for Oprah's Book Club as the author of 1 million little pieces. And Nathaniel Hawthorne, one of his best known works was The House of the Seven Gables. So good job to both of you.
Now, James Fry also a part of Oprah's Cry Club because she made him cry like a little baby for lying.
Which I think is the better club to be in, frankly.
I agree. I mean, Stedman is the charter member of that.
All right, so put a pin on Ken questions, number 5 here. The McElhenney Company, based in Avery Island, Louisiana, is most famous for what product, which gets its name in a roundabout way from a state in Mexico?
I'm going to lock in.
I think I can lock in. Yeah.
Oh, that was nice and quick on both sides.
Tabasco sauce?
I said Tabasco sauce.
And Tabasco it is. Good job, guys. Tabasco sauce gets its name from the Tabasco pepper, which is cultivated primarily in, you guessed it, Tabasco, Mexico.
So not too bad, Jonathan. We both
That was a much better round than I anticipated.
Yeah, you can't do better than perfect there, Jonathan. You hit all 5 in Ken's stuff, bringing your score up to 80 points to 70. All right, so I think I'll give you guys a vague explanation of the topic before Jonathan selects which 2 of you he wants to face off head-to-head against. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. I give you just enough rope to hang yourself with in this game. All right, so the topic for this week's swing round, at least vaguely speaking, is inconceivable trivia facts.
And to piggyback on what Matt said in the beginning of the game, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, Jonathan will pick 2 of us to face here in the swing round, and then those 2 will be out of contention to
for the final.
Final. So it's kind of a strategic move here to pick who he thinks is going to be good at this and who he does or does not want to face in the final, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the off chance that inconceivable refers to The Princess Bride and movies, I'm going to avoid Neal in this round. And I'm going to go with Jeff and Matt.
Ooh. If it's movies, that's a problem for us.
Jeff and Matt, you are on the block, as it were. The theme for our swing round is, again, an inconceivable round of trivia facts, because what I've done is taken 10 of Wallace Shawn's most notable lines from his role as Vizzini in The Princess Bride and replaced one or more words with a trivia clue. I will let you know specifically what part I've replaced. All you have to do is basically answer that clue with the word that completes the actual line from the film.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, so how does scoring work for the swing round? Remind me and the listeners, if you would.
So Jonathan's, because he's by himself, are going to be worth 10 points apiece, and ours are going to be worth 5.
All right, so big opportunity for Jonathan here. I'm just going to go through these one by one, give you the full read, and give you guys a couple minutes to lock in your answers, and then we'll go over the results.
Sounds good.
All right, so number 1 in our swing round. When I found you, you were so slobbering drunk you couldn't buy the singing Norwood. The trivia clue in there is the singing Norwood. Number 2, friendless, brainless, helpless, hopeless. Do you want me to send you back to where you were, unemployed, in the home of the largest national park in the world? And the trivia clue is the home of the largest national park in the world. Number 3, of all the notably copper-adorned Burmese Kayan tribe's body parts on this boat, Highness, the one you should be worrying about is your own. And the trivia clue is notably copper-adorned Burmese Kayan tribe's body parts. Number 4, probably some local fishermen out for a pleasure cruise at night through Anago-infested waters. And the clue here is simply Anago. Number 5, whoever he is, he's too late. See? The first word of the instrumental song that won Eric Johnson a Grammy in 1992 of Insanity. The clue being first word of the instrumental song that won Eric Johnson a Grammy in 1992.
Finally, at least I know one, Matt.
All right, number 6. You were supposed to be this mutated alter ego of Peter Rasputin. You were this great legendary thing, and yet he gains. The clue being mutated alter ego of Peter Rasputin. Number 7. Catch up when he's dead. If he falls, fine. If not, the code word for the easternmost landing site of Operation Neptune. And the clue being code word for the easternmost landing site of Operation Neptune. Number 8. Pick up one of those rocks, get behind the city where the Buffaloes roam in the NCAA. In a few minutes, the man in black will come running around the bend. The minute his head is in view, hit it with the rock. The clue being city where Buffaloes roam in the NCAA. Number 9, let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Aristocles, his famous student, his famous teacher? This one will actually have 3 answers, and the clue is Aristocles, his famous student, his famous teacher. And number 10, the most famous is never get involved in a land war in a supergroup combining King Crimson, yes, the Buggles, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But only slightly less well known is this. Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Your clue being a supergroup combining King Crimson, yes, the Buggles, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
All right, so we're going to think those over, and we'll be right back with the answers.
All right, guys, so you've had a couple minutes to kind of chew these over. We'll go over them again one by one and see what you guys had to say to replace the trivial clue to complete the quote. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, I assume the Triviality guys are ready too.
Oh, yes, I am also ready.
Locked in, ready to go.
That's how locked in we are.
Yep. Can we keep that awkward pause in for sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so number 1. When I found you, you were so slobbering drunk you couldn't buy the singing Norwood. Who is the singing Norwood?
If you guys don't mind, I'll go first on this one because out of all of them, this is the one I didn't know. I felt really good about all the rest of them. But this one, I remember the line. You couldn't buy something. I said beer. I have no idea what the singing Norwood is.
Well, if you remember, he was a kicker for the Bills. It was Scott Norwood. No, it was
See, no, I thought about Scott Norwood. If that was it, I would have been fine.
No, this is Moesha herself, Brandy Norwood. Brandy is the answer.
Brandy.
Yep, the full quote is, when I found you, you were so slobbering drunk you couldn't buy brandy.
I'm going to need you to do these in a Wallace Shawn imitation, Jason.
I'm going to need you to not ask me to do that because I cannot pull off an effective Wallace Shawn.
Come on.
Neal, you got a Wallace Shawn in you?
I don't know if I have a good one. I mean, I don't.
Well, I cannot do this man justice, but I can try just one for you.
I'll try one too. I'll try one if you try one, okay?
All right. Let me see if I can channel him for this next one. Friendless, brainless, helpless, hopeless. You want me to send you back to where you were, unemployed, in the home of the largest national park in the world?
I think it's Greenland.
We also said Greenland.
Crap.
Yep. The home of the largest national park of the world, as maintained by Denmark, is on the island of Greenland. Good job.
It's most of the northern part of the island.
All right, that Wallace Shawn was terrible, so I think that's all you're going to get out of me.
That was not terrible. That was pretty good.
So awful.
That was
it was good enough so we never have to do it again.
Oh.
Overruled.
All right, number 3. Of all the notably copper-adorned Burmese Kayan tribes' body parts on this boat, Highness, the one you should be worrying about is your own. What is that body part?
I debated between necks and throats, but I settled on necks.
Yeah, we said necks.
Yep, the Burmese Kayan tribe are notable for using the copper rings to elongate their necks. Good job, guys.
A lot of necking going on in here.
You know how hard it was to find a trivia fact where the answer was necks, plural?
That's why you should be listening to the Dracula trivia show. It's all about necks.
I looked at this one on my sheet for about 30 minutes before I finally landed a topic that I could write necks about.
All right, guys, let's go to the next question.
Oh.
All right, number 4. Probably some local fishermen out for a pleasure cruise at night through Inago-infested waters. What is a nago?
I said eel.
I believe these are also eels.
The shrieking eels.
Indeed, one of the 2 types of eel that are commonly used in sushi preparation, unagi and anago. Number 5, whoever he is, he's too late. See? The first word of the instrumental song that won Eric Johnson a Grammy in 1992 of Insanity.
I said cliffs. The cliffs of insanity.
Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite Guitar Hero songs, Cliffs of Dover. We said cliffs.
Yep, those would be the famed Cliffs of Insanity in the Princess Bride world. Good job to both of you, as we're looking pretty good so far. Number
Not
6.
For us, he gets double points.
Oh, that's fair.
I didn't forget that.
All right, number 6. You were supposed to be this mutated alter ego of Peter Rasputin. You were this great legendary thing, and yet he gains. What's
Who's
the
my
alter
X-Men
ego
fan over there?
Oh, I know this one. Yeah.
Oh, I said Colossus.
Yeah, Colossus.
Yeah, he was talking to Andre the Giant's character. You were supposed to be this Colossus, this great legendary thing.
Yep. Anybody want a peanut? Right.
All right, number 7. Catch up when he's dead. If he falls, fine. If not, the code word for the easternmost landing site of Operation Neptune. What's that code word?
I'm going to do him left-handed. I said the sword.
Mm-hmm. Jeff knew this one was the sword.
Good job to both of you. Of the 5 landing sites in D-Day, sword was the easternmost, and he was referring to Inigo Montoya discussing how to dispatch the man in black in that scene. Number 8. Pick up one of those rocks, get behind the city where the Buffaloes roam in the NCAA. In a few minutes, the man in black will come running around the bend. The minute his head is in view, hit it with the rock. Where do the Buffaloes roam?
I didn't get it from the sports. I got it from the quote, get behind the boulder.
Yep, home of the Colorado Buffalo. It's Boulder.
Yep, as he's telling Andre the Giant's character Fezzik to hide behind a boulder. Number 9, and this one might trip you guys up. We'll find out. Let me put it this way. Have you heard of Aristocles, his famous student, his famous teacher? Who are those 3 people in order?
Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, morons.
I'll let Jeff answer this one.
Yeah, that would only be fair considering my undergrad degree is in philosophy. But yes, we said Plato, whose student was Aristotle. Plato's teacher was Socrates. So Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates.
Yep, Jonathan had a great read on that. Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, morons. And your 10th and final inconceivable trivia fact, and I'd be surprised if this one is a miss because it's one of his best-known lines. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in a supergroup combining King Crimson, yes, the Buggles, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But only slightly less well-known is this. Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
I said Asia.
We also said Asia.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't answer in the heat of the moment because it is Asia. Congratulations to both of you. The Triviality boys hitting the clean sweep there in the swing round, picking up 50 points. That's the good news. The bad news for them is that even though Jonathan had one miss in that round, his points were doubled, and he picked up an additional 90, making the score going into the second half. Jonathan with 170 points, Triviality sitting at 120. So we should probably jump into the second half here. Neal, are you ready to take the mantle on and face Jonathan in some entertainment trivia?
I'm oiled up and put on a Speedo because I'm out of underwear, so I'm ready to go.
Oh,
thank God this is a
specifically
video
requested that you not do that.
I mean,
and you did it anyways.
I wanted to be slippery, both hypothetically and literally as well.
All right, guys, let's jump in with some entertainment. Your first question. Lena Katina and Julia Volkova are known to international music fans as what music act, whose name supposedly means that this girl loves that girl?
I know this one.
Oh, great. It's Neal's turn, though.
I know.
I don't think I'm going to get there. And I think my reference is too old, but I'm just going to lock in.
All right, Jonathan, the onus is on you then.
Well, it's not a very good onus, though. Volkova means it's likely Russian, and there are these two Russian women who have a band. I became aware of it 4 or 5 years ago, and I just can't think of their name.
Isn't it Bewitched with the asterisk or whatever?
C'est la vie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to guess a wrong answer of Riot Girls.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just, the first group that literally came to my head that kind of sounded like those names was, I believe it's All the Things She Said, that I think it's Tattoo, so I just put Tattoo.
Oh my God, that's right.
That's right.
You got it for 10 points. I probably should have told you guys in advance this question was originally in Ken stuff because it was about Tattoo.
Oh.
Oh
my God.
I wondered if that got moved.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Yeah.
I thought
You're such a goon.
I thought my reference was like, way too early, and this was like a more modern, like I was thinking Pussy Riot, to be honest, but it's not.
That's even older.
Well, see, I don't even know. So that's why, that's the only group I know that has two girl singers. So
it was a very important video for 15-year-old Matt. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, the big internet rumor around that band at the time was that they were lovers. So the reference to the name "This Girl Loves That Girl" was semi-intentional by their producer.
Oh, I always thought they were sisters. So that definitely changes things.
That's a classic. Neal is like, I have no idea. I'm going to get this wrong, and that says the right answer.
I have no. That's the only thing that came to my head, and I was like, it can't mean I love you, but whatever. I'll say it.
All right, moving on to number 2 in entertainment. Major Boothroyd is a film character that's appeared in about 24 different feature films, though you probably better know the character by what briefer title?
I'm going to lock in.
Oh, shoot. For something to be 24 films, okay, it's either Marvel Cinematic Universe or James Bond. So it's probably James Bond. And we all know how much I love James Bond. Is it M or Q? I don't know. I think those are both the names of characters. I think M is the boss lady and Q is the scientist guy. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say Q.
All right, Neal, which way did you go on this one?
Yeah, I think if I would have gotten this one wrong, the guys would have been angry because every time we're at Jason's trivia, more as
You write all of the canonical films down in order?
Yeah, just to kind of keep my brain. That's the way I work out my brain before we start. So I went with his trusty friend Q.
Oh, thank Jesus.
Yep, that's points all around for Major Boothroyd, the quartermaster, often simply referred to by the letter Q. Question 3. Despite his name, Frank Beard is a clean-shaven man that's performed as a drummer across 6 decades, starting his professional career in 1969 and continuing into the 2020s as a core member of what band?
I'm locked in.
Okay, let me think. I am a drummer, so I love drummers, drummer history. So I'm trying to go through.
Just so you know, Neal, the collective Triviality is just shaking their heads at you right now.
I know. I think all 3 of us know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably not paying attention, to be fully honest. Let's see.
any of the 8 times we've answered it.
So probably something that would be on like not really MTV, more rockish, Tom Petty, Eagles type stuff, Americana, Frank Beard. Yeah, that's right. Because you guys always talk about how ZZ Top, they all have beards, but the dude's last name is Beard, who's the drummer. And I don't even know if he has a beard, but I think it's ZZ Top. So that's what I'm going to lock in with.
All right, Jonathan, let's see if you followed suit on that.
Ha, 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 ha. I said ZZ Top.
Whew.
Yeah, good job to both of you. It is one of those like trivial chestnut facts that every member of ZZ Top has a beard except for their drummer, who is named Frank Beard.
I believe that's ZZ Top for Canadian fans.
All right, question 4.
Let's do it.
All right. Lorenzo Music was a voice actor who's probably best recognized for voicing 2 characters during the 80s on animated television. Now, both of those characters were coincidentally portrayed by Bill Murray in films. I need you to name those 2 characters.
You could have put this in my round. This is in my wheelhouse.
One of them comes really fast, I think, but the other one...
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you on probably what your first instinct is, and I'm trying to think of the other one.
I'm not a Bill Murray guy either. I'm an anti-Bill Murray guy.
Oh, wow. You're the guy.
Yeah, no, I'm the guy.
I'm just dropping bombs here on this one.
He's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I think I have one of them for sure, and the other one I'm trying to go through his filmography, and I think I'm overlooking the famous animated cartoon from the 80s, Lost in Translation. But
right,
the kids really didn't like it for some reason. So while you guys are thinking about this question, so I've kind of been watching a lot of movies during this lockdown time period. Today I watched Guess Who's Coming to Dinner for the first time.
Oh.
And it really wasn't the mystery film that I thought it was going to be. They pretty much tell you who's coming to dinner in the first 5 minutes. So
I was just going to ask, did you guess correctly?
It's just very disappointing to be honest.
I only think I got half of it, but I'm going to lock in.
So one of them is going to be Ghostbusters. Peter Venkman is Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, and the Ghostbusters had a cartoon that lasted for a while. I ended up going the Bill Murray route, and the only film, Meatballs, I don't know his character's name. Stripes, I don't know his character's name. I don't think it's Caddyshack. I don't think there's a Caddyshack cartoon. I ended up with What About Bob and Groundhog's Day, and I'm hoping that there was a Groundhog's Day cartoon. I said Phil from Groundhog's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in the same train of thought as Jonathan right away. I was a huge fan of the Ghostbusters cartoon. I had all the toys, so I put Peter Venkman. And I thought maybe going through all his films, from old Bill Murray movies when he started doing a little more artsy things to the OG Bill Murray, as Jonathan mentioned, Stripes, all that stuff. I thought maybe it was a trick question. And the only thing I could think of that would have been a cartoon in the 80s that could have been live action would have been when he himself voiced Garfield. So I said Garfield as a guess.
Oh my God, Neal.
He got it right, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Good job, Neal. 10 points to you.
So the only reason Bill Murray took that role was because it was written by Joel Coen, who he thought was one of the Coen brothers, and he thought it was going to be a Coen brothers movie. That's a real story. And that's why he ended up voicing Garfield.
That is really good.
Wow.
But the Cohen was like missing the H or had the H or
it had the H. It was not he was not related.
A very different movie.
Brother gonna swing by? I have sisters.
It's especially surprising in that Garfield movie when Garfield kills Odie with the cattle gun.
They sound exactly the same though. Like if you go through the cartoon and Bill Murray, like it's pretty much the same voice. It sounds like
do I.
There you go.
All right, let's go ahead and put a pin in entertainment here and end with question 5. It's quite an accomplishment on the old resume to be listed as both a member of the Dirty Dozen and the Magnificent Seven. What actor can make that lofty claim?
I'm locked in.
I've never seen either movie. No idea at all. I will guess probably in neither of these movies. I'll guess Jack Palance.
Ooh, number one guy.
So Neal, Neal, I actually watched both of these movies earlier this year. So I just want to know, hey, Neal, got some cookies? How about some cookies?
You two-time and gutless mother of a canary. I just made that up. It's not a real line, but yeah, I believe it would be Charles Bronson.
Oh.
Yep, and points to Neal on that. Charles Bronson, the only person to be in both The Dirty Dozen and The Magnificent Seven, or at least to be a title member of both of those films. So coming out of entertainment, Triviality really starting to catch up here. Neal hit the perfect 50 points there and has brought you guys up to 170, which tied Jonathan, except for the 20 points he picked up in entertainment. So it is a 20-point lead separating Jonathan at 190 from Triviality at 170. Ooh. Going in, finally.
As always, Neal being the overachiever.
God, man, that was brutal. Oh, jeez.
I got lucky there a few times, so that was a hard round.
All right, so I think we're ready to finally get into Jonathan's wheelhouse. Jeff, are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
All right, Jonathan, would you like to spoil the topic of our fourth round tonight?
I was gonna go one of two ways. I was either gonna do presidents or I was gonna do baseball.
Oh no,
we're doing baseball.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Yeah, we are talking baseball, Jeff.
I was giving you presidents, Jeff. If I'd chosen presidents, it would have been somebody else.
All right, so Jonathan's theme of choice for this final round is baseball. Jeff, tap the cleats and get into the box. It's time to go. All right, question one. Since this is a podcast, I'll let you know spelling doesn't count. What baseball Hall of Famer tied Brooks Robinson's record in 1983 when he became the second and to date only other player in MLB history to play a record 23 seasons with a single MLB franchise?
I'm not 100% sure it's right, but I'm going to lock in.
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's no way I'm going to know this. So I'm not going to sit here for an hour and try and figure it out. So I will have to tap shamefully in front of Matt.
Surprisingly, that's our first tap out of the game. But Jonathan, who do you think it is?
So I think spelling doesn't count was a big clue there. I went with Yastrzemski.
Yes, Queen.
Yep, and it was a clue. I was hoping to give Jeff a fighting chance on that one. Carl Yastrzemski spent his entire 23-year career in the majors as a member of the Red Sox.
Yeah, and you and your freaking Red Sox, man. You had to throw a Red Sox question in, of course.
All right, question two, guys. 1938 saw an accomplishment that's never been duplicated in the majors. It took 4 days in June for Reds player Johnny Vandermeer to accomplish what spectacular feat?
I'm locked in.
Did you say this was Sting?
Yeah, I've got no idea.
All right, so is that another tap out for you, Jeff?
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, so Jeff batting 0 for 2 so far. Jonathan, can you pick up 10 more points on this?
I'm pretty sure that he threw back-to-back no-hitters.
I'm pretty sure you just picked up 10 points. He is the only player in Major League history to pitch consecutive no-hitters.
Oh, wow.
One on June 11th, I believe, 1938, and then his next appearance 4 days later, back at the time of the four-man rotation.
That's impressive.
All right, I'm going to warn you both now on question 3. This is a hypothetical situation kind of question, and in the event nobody gets it exactly right, I will award points to the player whose answer is most accurate.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here's your hypothetical situation, guys. The first 3 players scheduled to bat this inning in order are Larry, Moe, and Curly. Larry reaches on a walk, and Curly, being a dumbass, walks into the batter's box instead of Moe and sees a called strike. The other manager then lets the umpire know that Curly is batting out of order. What I want to know is, at that point, what happens to Larry, Moe, and Curly?
They meet the mummy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lock in.
Yeah, I've got a guess.
Well, if you're both wrong, it comes down to whoever's closer. So, Jeff, let's start with you, just to change the pace up.
Okay, so Larry, I don't think anything happens to Larry on base. I think the batter that jumps him just gets called out, and then they resume play. That would be my guess.
I think I've got where you're going with that. Jonathan?
So I said Larry stays on first, Moe is called out, and Curly remains at bat.
All right, so interestingly, I I could have Neal kind of jump in, but those to me sound like effectively identical answers.
Yeah, they sound the same.
What I took from it too.
They are identically partially correct. You will both pick up the 10 points.
All right.
On this one. So, Jeff, you're off the schneid. You were both correct. Larry would stay on first base according to Major League rules. Now, where it gets interesting is that Mo would immediately take the batter's box with the 0-1 count inherited from Curly, who just goes back to the dugout and waits his turn.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happens when a batter is still in the batter's box when the umpire gets the notification from the other manager that they are batting out of order. It gets more complicated after play has concluded for that batter, but yeah, in that situation, Mo would inherit the 0-1 count. Curly would go back to the dugout.
Wow. The rules of the game are simple.
Except they're not. Number 4. Jonathan Colton fans like me might know this geographically named former MLB commissioner, who's memorialized in the name of the award given to each league's regular season MVP.
I'm locked in.
I think he's a singer, but I don't even know that for sure. So, yeah, baseball. Jonathan picked my worst sport, so this is a good call on him.
Jonathan's doing a victory dance over there in his chair.
I'm not surprised, yeah. I've got no idea. I can think of a bunch of football and hockey awards, but I just don't follow baseball.
All right, so that's a tap out again?
Yep.
All right, Jonathan, who do you have for me?
I went with Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Yeah, and Ken, you're ready with the bleep button, right?
Yep.
Cool, because Jonathan Colton sings that Kennesaw Mountain Landis was a bad
Is he the person who does that funny cover of Baby Got Back?
Among other things, yeah. He's the guy who's probably most famous for inventing the Glee ripoff version of Baby Got Back.
That's awesome.
10 points to Jonathan on that. And for the clean sweep, number 5, Morgana Roberts first became notorious in 1969, but spent 21 years serving in a sense as baseball's unofficial mascot. What is she best remembered for doing, which first involved Pete Rose?
I'm locked in.
If it first involved Pete Rose, I'm assuming it was cheating and then not being nominated to be in the Hall of Fame.
Getting tombstone pile drive by Kane.
She was the gobbledygooker.
I don't know this name at all. That's the only Pete Rose reference I know. So I was to say she was cheating on something. Don't know what, but
okay.
Sports betting. There we go.
Jonathan, what do you have?
She was known as the Kissing Bandit, and she would run onto the field of play and kiss players. So she ran out and kissed Pete Rose.
Yeah. Starting in 1969, she kissed at least 24 professional baseball players and players in other sports, notably on the cheek. But a couple players got her back and kissed her back. She spent 21 years as the Kissing Bandit. Good job to Jonathan on the clean sweep in that round.
No kissing bandits in podcasting, though, yet, at least.
All right, so moving into the final round, your recap, Jonathan doing very well in this game, has accrued 240 points that he has available to wager in our final round. Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff, collectively, you have put 180 points on the board. So you can both, fortunately, bet the maximum here in our final round. Who is Jonathan facing off against in this final round again?
Ken and Neal.
Yep. So Jonathan, Ken, and Neal. We'll give you your 5 categories. These may or may not suit one of you more than they'll suit the others. But get your wagers down, 0 to 30 points on each of these 5 topics. And they are Trivial Warfare, Blitz, Foreplay, Things That Are Blank, and Talking Fat.
Oh, my God. That way it rubs it in if I get it wrong.
I am not a kiss ass.
I can tell you that Ken should go all in on foreplay. So
I don't even know what that is.
All of us should go all in on foreplay, gentlemen.
That's true. Doctor's orders.
All right, so it looks like the wagers are in, and I will spoil it in advance for our listeners. Both Triviality and Jonathan have decided to go 20 points across the board. So every question is going to be a 20-point swing for each of them. Are you guys ready for your final round?
I'm ready.
Yep.
Hopeful.
All right, question 1 in the final round. The category is Trivial Warfare. What sultanate, now part of a modern-day country that partially bears its name, is forever known to trivia nerds as the losers of the shortest recorded war in all of human history? For comparison's sake, this podcast episode is longer than that entire war was. All right, number 2, the category is Blitz. The Blitz was portrayed on How I Met Your Mother by actor Jorge Garcia, who's better known for playing Jerry Ortega on Hawaii Five-0, as well as Hugo Reyes on what TV series that ran from 2004 to 2010? You may not know the character as Hugo, but rather by a surfboard-sounding nickname. Number 3, your category is Foreplay. The instrumental song Foreplay is a progressive, organ-intensive piece that serves as the prelude to the third track on what band's eponymous 1976 debut album, which featured founder Tom Schultz on pretty much every instrument. Number 4, the category Things That Are Blank. The style of poetry known as blank verse has been utilized in legendary English works like Paradise Lost, Ulysses, Dr. Faustus, and Mending Wall. How many syllables make up a typical line of blank verse? And number 5, Talking Fat, your category. What was the apropos nickname of the member of the Cosby Kids, popularized by the TV show Fat Albert, who spoke with a signature speech pattern called Ubby Dubby?
Oh, he finally got a question I know the answer to. Holy crap, I'm getting screwed on this round.
All right, we're going to take a few moments to go over these questions and see if we can come up with some answers. While we do that, we would love for you to help support our show. As we say it on every episode, our patrons are the lifeblood of our show, and all of their donations greatly help us continue to keep going, especially during this time period where we can have a little bit of extra time to put the shows together and be some sort of escape for everything that's going on. But our big contribution is extra content. So we have over 35 extra bonus episodes you can listen to, some funny, some ridiculous, some even more ridiculous than that, along with other perks and things that you can get at the different levels of patronage. So if you'd like to join Patreon, please join us at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast and look to support the show and support us, and we'd very much appreciate it. All right, Jason, we'd love to hear those questions one more time, and we will give our answers.
All right, let's start it off with number 1, category Trivial Warfare. What sultanate, now part of a modern-day country that partially bears its name, is forever known to trivia nerds as the losers of the shortest recorded war in all of human history? For comparison's sake, this podcast episode is longer than that entire war was. You guys both had 20 points on the line for this, and that is the recurring theme. So let's start with the triviality, guys. What sultanate did you come up with?
Yeah, so I feel like I just heard this somewhere, but I could not place where I heard it or what the answers were. So Neal said Brunei has a sultan, so we said Brunei.
I didn't know. Part of me wanted to go Agrabah, but I locked into the part about this being a sultanate that's a shorter part of a current country's name, and so I was looking for things that could be included in another country's name, and I locked in with Bosnia.
Oh, decent guesses for both of you, but unfortunately neither of you were able to pick up the shortest recorded war in history, lasting roughly 38 minutes by most accounts. Happened in the 19th century. It was the Anglo-Zanzibar War.
Oh.
Zanzibar, now, of course, part of the modern nation of Tanzania, along with the former territory of Tanganyika. All right, auspicious start. Category number 2, Blitz. The Blitz was portrayed on How I Met Your Mother by actor Jorge Garcia, who's better known for playing Jerry Ortega on Hawaii Five-0, as well as Hugo Reyes on what TV series that ran from 2004 to 2010? You may not know the character as Hugo, but rather by a surfboard-sounding nickname. Jonathan, what show are we talking about?
So there's a couple of things that people know about me, and one of those things is I'm bad at modern TV. And yes, I'm old enough so that 2004 to 2010 qualifies as modern TV for me. I had no idea, so I guessed a show that has been a thorn in my side for a while now because it keeps being the right answer to questions I don't know the answer to, and I guessed Psych.
All right, and we'll take it over to Triviality.
Yeah, this one, I think I only watched the first season in my dorm room, but shout out to Justin Shady, who's friends with Jorge, and that would be Hurley from Lost.
Oh, it's like, I don't know what it was, but the moment you started talking, I said to myself, it's Lost.
And yeah, Lost indeed. Nice job. 20 points going to the Triviality guys. Hugo awesome. Hurley Reyes on Lost.
I think he was on an episode of Psych once. I'm not sure, but it's possible.
Yep. Number 3, your category was foreplay. The instrumental song Foreplay is a progressive, organ-intensive piece that serves as the prelude to the third track on what band's eponymous 1976 debut album, which featured founder Tom Schultz on pretty much every instrument.
So I'm desperately hoping this was a correct guess. Organs was a clue, and the word progressive was a clue. I guessed yes.
All right, and how about the Triviality, boys?
Yeah, unfortunately for Jonathan, that's going to be a no. But it was Boston.
It's Boston. That's the other one I was thinking of.
Boston gets you again.
I'm literally on my page. Yes, and Boston right next to it, scratched out.
It's been such a long time since we had a Boston question.
Yeah, Foreplay is the lead into track 3, which is titled Foreplay / Long Time.
Yeah, I love singing this on Rock Band. It's a great one. Or Guitar Hero, one or the other.
All right, number 4, things that are blank. The style of poetry known as blank verse has been utilized in legendary English works like Paradise Lost, Ulysses, Dr. Faustus, and Mending Wall. How many syllables make up a typical line of blank verse? We'll throw it, I think, to Neal here.
Yeah, I mean, I've read some parts of those things, more like more so adaptations normally, but we had no idea, so we kind of talked it out and pretended we were reciting the poem, and we just kind of settled on 10. We have no idea.
All right, Jonathan, do you feel more confident on your guess?
I also had zero idea. Zero. I guessed 10.
Oh. Well, the fates are in your favor because blank verse, most famously known as the style of verse that Shakespeare wrote in, consists of lines of iambic pentameter for 10 syllables per line. Good job to both of you.
Oh, crazy.
All right, and number 5 to finish it out, category was Talking Fat. What was the apropos nickname of the member of the Cosby Kids, popularized by the TV show Fat Albert, who spoke with a signature speech pattern called Ubby Dubby?
I'm desperately hoping that I got this right and you got this wrong because I think we would be in a tie if that's true. I said mushmouth.
We didn't know. We said Ubby Dubby is also a language on the kids show Zoom, and we said Zoom.
Points are going to go to Jonathan on that one. Mushmouth, the lieutenant, as it were, of the Cosby Kids behind Fat Albert. What I didn't know going into this question was that Ubby Dubby is an actual lexical game that various languages play. You said you think we're currently in a tie, right?
I think I had a 40-point lead going in, and I lost 40 and they added 40, but then it just changed. I just gained 20 back and they lost 20 back. Doesn't that put us in a tie?
It would if you were in fact leading by 40 points going into this round. You were not, however, which means by 20 points, the winner of tonight's Game of Death is Jonathan. Congratulations. 220 to 200 even.
Wow.
What a job.
Fatality.
Wow.
I owe it to Mushmouth.
You really do. It was 20 points to their favor until that final question reversed the order of things. So good job to both of you, both Triviality and Jonathan. You guys played a hell of a game.
Just as long as that game's not baseball.
Yeah, the difference with baseball, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ken and I are drummers, but the most tapping was done with Jeff in that round.
You suck.
No, great. Great game, Jason. That was a really well-written game and fun across the board.
I'm always happy to be here for you guys. It was a great game on my end, too. You guys were awesome.
Well, you know what? Let's start with you before we go to Jonathan. Where can people find you? You're doing streams every night. Where can they see the type of content that you're putting out?
Yeah, definitely. So we're on Twitch pretty much 7 nights a week. In fact, right after this recording, I'm going to go live on Twitch. To find us, just go to twitch.tv/liquid_courage, and courage is spelled with the letter K because it was a lot cheaper. Of course, if you need information outside of Twitch, our Facebook page is probably the best place to go. That would be facebook.com/liquidcourage, or just send me an email if you ever need me for anything in the trivia space. I am jason@liquidcourage.com.
Yeah, you'll see Jason interacting with a lot of people over at the Crop. So if you're not there, facebook.com/Triviality Podcast, search for the Crop and join us there. And you'll see all of Jason's posts, keep you updated on what he's streaming and when he's streaming them.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And you can also hit us up over at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TrivialityPod. And speaking of the Crop and the community, big thank you to Jonathan Oakes for enriching the trivia community over at Trivial Warfare Army and all the other shows that he produces, but I'll let him talk about that. So, Jonathan, thank you for joining us. We've been trying to do this for a really long time. And where can people find you? And we just appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of myself. Yeah, you already said Trivial Warfare Army is the name of our Facebook group. It is one of my favorite places online to hang out and spend time with people. Trivialwarfare.com is the home base for all of our shows, and you can find links. You can honestly just search. If you search the last name Oakes, believe it or not, Oakes, in a podcast app, that's probably the best way to find our shows because they're all done by the Oaks Media Group. So I searched trivia today and I was like, nope, my shows don't all come up under trivia anymore. So searching by my last name was the easiest way for me to find all my shows in one place.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. We've been planning this for a long time. It was so much fun to have you here. We'll have to do it again, especially after a tight contest like that one. And thank you to Jason. Thank you to Ken, Jeff, and Matt for joining us over Skype, and for myself sitting here alone in my own thoughts. It'll be okay.
I'm with you in spirit, Neal.
Yeah, we'll get there together.
We'll get there together. That's right.
6 feet apart, though.
Yeah, exactly. 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, but not in our hearts. So thank you very much to everyone. And that was Triviality. You said they started in 1979, 69?
1969, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so...
Really?